Ultron finally is releasing this Friday, and for a while we might have actually thought that Ultron was just the friends we made along the way because he was leaked in Season 0 and didn't show up until now here at the start of Season 2.5. I hate to say Ultron's weight is probably not worth it. As a healer, he's very underwhelming. As a DPS, he's kind of okay, I guess. He's very dependent on having Iron Man in the party, and we'll break down all of that. But first, let's take a look at his actual abilities so you can kind of wrap your mind around it, and then we'll dive into why he has so many deficits, and it's coming out of the oven a little bit half-baked. So first, we're going to look at his Encephalo Ray. This is your left click, this is your DPS, and it releases a burning energy beam. Now, you will see as he fires, there's a little bit of damage, and then there's an explosion at the end of it. There's like the pow right at the end. He can do some okay damage, and if he catches you low, he will probably get the kill. His ultimate is probably his best thing in his natural kit. This is Rage of Ultron. Summons Ultron drones to fire Encephalo Rays, damaging enemies and healing allies. Now, this is by far the best thing he has as his natural kit because he does a fair amount of damage with the 4 drones, and he does a ton of healing as well. Dynamic Flight is basically your fast flight. Now, this has a relatively strong cooldown, so you will be just floating there most of the time, except when you have your dynamic flight up, which is your ship. Now, he has 2 imperatives, and these are his quote-unquote healings. First is Imperative Patch. This is when you place a drone on a fellow ally, constantly healing allies within the radius with more healing designated on the host. So, like, for example, if you had put the drone on Emma Frost, there's a Punisher and yourself in it. It'll show the 3 number like you see here on Punisher, but Emma's going to get the best healing. Ultron and Punisher would get a little bit of additional healing in that AoE range. Now, this is his only natural healing. His second is his right click, which is Imperative Firewall, which summons drones to grant bonus health to allies within the range, centering on himself and an ally marked to breathe the Imperative Patch. So basically, you send out this little drone, it'll give you some overhealth, and it gives it to someone else that are within that flight path of the firewall, but it's not very strong. And now here's his best thing. Nano Ray. It's team up with Iron Man. And I'll be honest with you, I'm at the point after playing hour and hour of Ultron that if there isn't an Iron Man in your group, he might not actually be worth it. Iron Man uses nanotechnology to upgrade the Ultron's arsenal, enhancing the Encephalo Ray to a Nano Ray. During its active phase, Ultron fires unstoppable Nano Ray straight ahead that pierces through all characters, delivering massive damage to enemies while simultaneously restoring health to allies. It actually really is a good ability, and by far his best ability, but unfortunately, this is reliant upon you having an Iron Man. Personally, I think they might have been better just to put this actually in his kit if this is what they wanted from him, because his healing sucks and his damage is spotty.
Biological life is obsolete. We will soon be under attack.
Now, as we were talking earlier, his damage is this spray burst, and you see that there is this little explosion at the end. It does okay damage. Like, you're basically two-shotting Luna.
Double KO.
And then his L shift will get you to fly over. You can place the drone with E. As you can see, there's 2 things showing. A little 2. They're both getting healed. The bot that has the actual drone is going to get healed more. That's why he is ahead. If I switched it, it would be the exact opposite. And then I could also shield them if I needed to. But as you see, who got the shield because they got the overhealth. That's basically his kit. I can show you his ult now. Like if I needed to do ult, fly up, pop Q. They get healed. They get damaged. The damage isn't bad. They're still healing, and that is what Ultron's kit looks like. Like I was saying earlier, if Iron Man was here, I'd have to see. I could do the Blazer, which does kind of similar to his ult, where it heals and damages. But fortunately, this is all he got, and I'm surprised with how long he was in the oven. This is where we ended up at. A lot of people have been very excited for the arrival of Ultron. Let's be honest, we all knew he was coming since before Season 0. Ultron had been leaked for a very, very long time. Everyone knew he was going to be a strategist. Everyone knew he was going to be a little DPS heavy, which is not a surprise. I don't think anyone expected that he was going to come out this week. And in an update where they did obliterate pretty much anyone who had any kind of dive capability for the most part, he does have some survivability because of that. I think he's going to have to be buffed almost immediately. And with the fact that he's a brand new character, he's the first one that's coming out that doesn't feel strong. Like when Sue and Reed and Ben and Johnny and Emma all came out, they felt strong. Even after Emma's nerf, she still feels strong. Ultron is the first one that comes out, you're like, I don't think they hit the nail on the head with this one. Now, I think he has almost zero viability as a 2 strategist healer. His drone is just so low. It's okay on the main opponent, but anyone in it just gets such little trickle. It's way less than just having like a seed from Mantis on them, that I'm not sure he could be in anything other than 3 strategist comp. Now, I will say there is an exception to that rule, and that exception will be if there's an Iron Man in the group. And the reason is Nano Ray is actually pretty good. Nano Ray does, you just point and just fire it through everyone. It works pretty much the same way as Joyful Splash does, where it just heals and damages everything that it's touching. And in that case, I feel like he does have a pretty good ability at that point. The only downside to Nano Ray is a 30-second cooldown is really high. And it sucks that he has a 30-second cooldown when his ability to heal and his ability to shield is woefully underperforming. So it's going to be interesting to see what they do with them. Like, I feel realistically they need to take about 10 seconds off of Nano Ray. They need to up the drone a little bit, and they need to extend the overhealing on the shield probably another couple of seconds. Like, it's just, he feels bad to play. You're seeing it throughout the early access. Most people aren't even playing Ultron. Like, normally during early access, we're all in there. It is such a quick hard lock on that new character, but everyone's kind of played him, and they're like, oh, all right, I don't want to play this against other content creators. I don't want to play this against other players who know how to play the game. He's just weak. And this is the problem you're going to see with Ultron, is that people are going to hard lock him, and then they're going to ditch him. And it's going to be that meme, I don't want to play with you anymore.
You're broken. I don't want to play with you anymore.
Like, it's just really bad. And I'm worried that this is what we're going to see moving forward when they're dropping characters at a rapid 1 per month rate. They're going to come out undercooked. They're going to come out feeling like, oh man, here comes Blade, he sucks. Here comes Phoenix, she sucks. Here comes whomever. And Ultron is by far the worst character they have released at launch compared to all the characters they added in Zero, except maybe Black Widow. Like, we're talking about Ultron in the same sentence as the equivalence of Black Widow. And everyone knows Black Widow was the worst character in Season 0, and it wasn't even close. Now, here's the thing. With Dive being reduced and Dive being murdered, the only ones you really have to worry about getting to him with the fact that he has constant flight is other flyers, which I do feel with his shift being able to dash away gives him a little bit of an advantage over, say, like Johnny or even Storm trying to come and get him. But like Punisher, Hawkeye, Hela are going to pick him out of the sky if you're not positioned well. And the fact that he has no way to heal himself other than grabbing a med pack or sneaking into his own drone is going to make him very susceptible for picks. Now, sure, Spider-Man could swing through and get him, but Spider-Man's not going to have his one hit anymore with the fact that Symbiote's gone. And I think there is a good chance you will find some Iron Mans pairing up with him for that anchor, making Iron Mans have a little more survivability because of the fact they are losing Gamma. So Iron Man mains will be looking for that advantage with the fact that Gamma is now gone from the game from them. So there is a possibility that he will be solid. There is a possibility that he'll probably get buffed relatively quick. They're taking a lot of the feedback they're getting from this early access. I think the data will show early on that Ultron is just way too underpowered. Now, as I was saying earlier, in a 3 healer comp, say for example you have Sue, Cloak and Dagger, and Ultron, he'll do just fine. He'll probably get picks, he'll float around, he'll throw a drone on the tank, he'll sneak in, he'll get healed by the other healers. Like, it won't be an issue. He'll probably be pretty good because his Encephalarray will just kind of like get picks on low characters as he's flying around. And he'll probably thrive in that type of environment where he can then just pop his ult and just blast everything in the radius and try to get picks and try to get heals. But the problem is, if he is relied on as a second healer, it's going to be very similar to what happened when characters like Adam and Jeff were second healers. They just don't produce enough to make it worthwhile. That's why they fit more in third strategist kind of scenarios. Now, I do like him in this concept of third strategist. And let's be honest, I don't think third strategist is going away this season at all. And with the fact that Dive kind of got murdered, they're going to be able to sit back a lot more now without having to worry about everyone jumping down their throat every second. Like, they've done so much to Dive. They gutted Thor, they gutted Cap, they gutted Jeff, they gutted Spider-Man. Like, they've gone after so much of the Dive that the healers will probably just be able to sit back and bot. And Ultron will be able then to just fly around and do what he wants to do. But all in all, I have to say, I'm thoroughly disappointed in how weak he is. I expected him to be a much stronger healer. I expected his kit to work a little more with the team than it does. I always thought to myself, it's really weird that they were bringing Ultron in as a strategist, considering the nature of the character, but I thought like he would be really cool and that he'd have like multiple drones and be able to like do things kind of like that, where he'd be able to like throw them around and maybe even kind of like think about like, say, for example, Skull Merchant from Dead by Daylight, where he just plays them in places and they'd rotate and do different things. That's not the path they went. They went with basically you throw a Zenyatta orb on one person, but it has a little bit of AoE heal, and it just feels bad. I want to know what you think about it. Have you seen other content creators playing him? I know they're all kind of in the same chorus I am of, wow, what is going on here? But when he drops this Friday, you'll get a chance to have it hands-on, because I think anyone who's already played him will just be like, I'm good, brah. I don't want any part of this. Let me know, though, what you think in the comments below. As always, thank you for watching, and later, mates.